overall. It's been a good time here in Tyngsboro. Lots of good people, lots of good citizens who care about that town. Lots of good employees who work very hard and are very, very dedicated, despite sometimes people thinking public employees don't work very hard. That Tyngsboro is very fortunate in their hard-working employees that they have working on their behalf every day. Did a lot of things. We worked on a number of projects that I'm very pleased that the citizens, I hope, are pleased with. You know, whether it's the economic development plan, whether it's the master plan for the town center, whether it's some draft zoning regulations and draft design guidelines for that town center, an update of the open space and recreation plan, some new recreational fields. Lots of good things accomplished, but not just with myself involved. Lots of people involved. You don't get anywhere in a town arena unless lots of people are working together trying to achieve some of those goals. And I certainly think a lot of good goals have been achieved in the last few years.
And Rosemary, I can't help but ask, the friction that occurred with the selectmen, did that hasten your decision to retire?
My retirement is something I've been thinking about for a while now. First and foremost, the hours have been very, very long here in Tyngsboro. When I compare the hours that I've spent as a town administrator here in Tyngsboro to the hours that I was spending in other towns where I've been a town administrator, the hours in Tyngsboro are much longer. And in the other towns where I work, the selectmen were constantly after me and very upset with the hours I was working. So that can sort of give you an idea of just how many more hours I was working here in Tyngsboro. It's just time to say this has got to start ceasing. I don't mind working long hours, but some of the hours here were just getting a bit too much. I would also say that at this point, perhaps my philosophy is a little bit different than some members of the existing Board of Selectmen, and that's okay. They're the elected officials. They elected by the people of the town, and sometimes you just have to have a mutual parting of the ways, and everybody moves on to their next endeavor.
But if you were, let's say, a paid consultant to come in here and look at the situation, you would say that there's been a morale problem at Town Hall that needs to be addressed?
Right now there is, but I think people understand that. You've got some bigger problems, some obvious ones that are happening across the country and across the world because some of wage cuts. We're not alone with respect to the impact that wage cuts are having on morale. But at the same time, unfortunately, we've had this huge number of people who retired or resigned from their positions in the last few months right about the same time. So that's left a lot of vacancies to try to fill. And we've had to do a lot of patchwork in trying to fill those temporarily while we figured out what to do on a permanent basis. And some of those temporary patches have caused a lot of stress as people just tried to get the work done as best they could. So it makes the morale a little bit less than good because people are under such stress. And we still haven't got some of these positions still resolved, and it just takes time. I understand sometimes it does take time to get these things done, but right now it just seems to be taking a little bit longer than everybody would like, and that does have an impact on the morale. But again, as I've said before, and I'll say it again, get a good group of employees who work here. At some point, this will be resolved. They will be able to have some permanency in some of these positions, and the town is currently getting the work is currently getting done by the employees, and I know in the future when some permanency takes place in some of these departments, they'll continue to do a good job for the citizens.
Thank you, Rosemary.
You're welcome.